So this week I was challenged to make a video in under 2 hours, so just like start to finish it only takes 2 hours, which if you've ever tried to make a edited video at all is pretty quick if you're talking about shooting and editing and if you do voiceovers. And part of the challenge was to make the video with like include some mistakes in it, and I thought I love this challenge, and so what I'm gonna do actually is just try and do a real-time drawing and try and keep it to 10 minutes or so, which is really fast. And I don't really have a script or anything, so I'm just gonna kind of talk. I have a couple notes of things I could talk about, but it'll just be me trying to draw and talk at the same time, and maybe generally talk about some things I thought about earlier, but hope it goes well. I'm also gonna try and use some color. I've experimented a little bit with gouache, but I'm going to also be making some gouache colors. So this could be disastrous because I've not messed around a lot with gouache before, and when I have, just mixing the colors takes me roughly forever. So we'll see how this goes, but I did think about this before, and just really quickly, I have like a reference picture up here of my dog. I'm not planning on drawing him asleep, but I just wanted that picture because I like the folds in his face and stuff. Anyway, so I did try this a second ago, and I messed his body up so bad that I was like, okay, I have to back out. I have to start over, which maybe was a coward's approach, but it was pretty bad. It was like a fairly deformed dog, and I thought, I mean, it's like he was some mutant dog, quite frankly, and I have limits of what I want to, what I'm willing to deal with. Okay, okay. So I usually try and do his nose like really early on because it helps me place where his whole body is in perspective, like which way he's facing, and it's actually a little off of where I would prefer, but we're just gonna go with it. And I got this idea that I would really like, I really wanted to do something where he's like in a business suit, or like kind of like dressed for work, maybe not a suit, but like dressed for work, and kind of exasperated. I don't know why that seems funny to me, but we're gonna go with that as my theme here. My dog has really long ears, and so I need to actually get his ears in like this over here. All right, and the last drawing, I ended up, man, I just did something so wonky, so I need to, as I am talking at the same time, make sure I don't do the same thing. So okay, I'm just gonna do this kind of shirt thing. And last time, let's see, I do want to have his tie be kind of askew to kind of accentuate that he's like kind of exasperated. It's a pretty wonky looking tie for sure. There we go. But this is looking better than the other one so far, so that is good. So my usual process of doing videos is I actually have a backlog of footage because I started filming myself back in April, thinking like, oh, I'd love to do a YouTube channel, but that's as far as I thought about it. So I just started recording myself making, as I was drawing every day. And okay, his head's significantly larger than his body so far, so we're gonna maybe, I think that's just gonna have to be the reality of it. He's got a huge head. Otherwise, there's no way to make this video close to 10 minutes. But I knew that I wanted to make YouTube videos, and so I just started recording my video, or myself drawing every day, and by the time I actually kicked off the channel was June, so I had this like backlog of footage even in June, and so I'll just go and like take, you know, some of that backlogged footage and just pick drawings that I want to like pull from, and I'll just kind of like talk about the progress of where I'm at in the drawings and whatever videos. But this one, you know, like obviously is totally different because totally different, real time. I have no experience with trying to like draw and talk. What the heck is happening with his foot here? As an aside though, my dog does have like really funky angles that he props his legs out at. So it does look like a dog though, so I feel like we've got that going. And if you've never watched one of my videos before, so I have been drawing my dog every day this year as an effort to get in a lot of volume of drawing and just have like a really simple strategy for learning to draw, and specifically to learn the skills to be a professional illustrator. I would really like to be a professional illustrator, but I'm also, like a lot of people, really busy, and so I needed like some sort of really simple approach to having a plan to learn things, but something that could fit into, like, I have a 9-to-5 job, I have kids, I have a very limited time to like take on new skills, so it just helped me to have like a simple strategy of like, okay, my only plan is just to draw my dog every day, and if it takes 5 minutes, cool. If it takes 2 hours, then awesome. If I somehow have 2 hours, which I find myself like staying up till 1 in the morning because I enjoy drawing so much. Anyway, yeah, so I've been drawing my dog since January. I've been recording myself drawing since April, and it has been fun. There's been a lot of not awesome drawings that I've included. Just trying to show like the whole process, because I thought like if I could find a channel where someone was showing me the same thing, then I would love that. And I couldn't find a channel where someone was doing that, so I thought I will do that. This is the part that might be really disastrous. I was thinking that I wanted to have my dog, I don't actually know what I need blue for. I just kind of put it on there. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to dump a bunch of color on here in case I need it. But I was thinking that I wanted to have my dog doing something, like some sort of story here. I can't think of something quick that he could be doing. Well, maybe I'll think of it. But I'm gonna start mixing stuff. I'm bad at this. This is gonna be the like really painful part of the video. I know that I want him to be orange. You know, like, so orange is gonna be the dominant part. I have not figured out. I have had trouble mixing with just my brush, and I don't know if like other people mix colors differently, but I started just mixing with this stick here because it seems like that gives me more control and like doesn't gunk up the brush with paint. And I would say like I am a super novice at knowing how to get the right consistency. I think I want a bunch of white in this actually. Because my approach has been to start with really, really light colors and like light kind of thin layers and then work up from there, because if you have just like, it's easy to go from light to dark. I've seen people who do the opposite, but it's easy for me to go from light to dark, and then you just have, it's easier to adjust as you go. Where did my brush go? Okay, right. But yeah, if you make it too dark too fast, then you kind of have to, if you don't want it that dark, then you kind of have to start backing things out, and that can be hard. Alright, so okay, we're at 11 minutes, so it's not going to be a 10-minute video, but maybe we're zeroing in on getting it closer to being done. Alright, let's see how this looks. Usually I'm going for like a really watery, like semi-transparent look, and I've not had a lot of success at getting that with wash. I think I just don't have enough water, I guess. I think that's what it boils down to. One thing I don't do with my dog drawings is he's actually got white under his throat here and all on his belly. I often neglect to add that. And I also never draw his collar. I think just in the beginning I thought I think he looks cooler without his collar. All right. Still trying to think through what he could be doing. Like, what's he looking at here? Is it after work? Is it before work? I guess if it's before work and he looks this distressed and like things are, it's not a good day. I guess it could be during work. Alright, let's get into transparent. What I've been doing to get it more watery looking as I'm painting is I'll like dip my brush in the paint, which is pretty thick, on my plate, and then I'll dab it on a paper towel, and then I'll dip it in water right before I paint. I don't know if that's like a thing that people recommend, but I'm guessing there's better ways to do it. My dog also has white paws. He's a Beagle Basset Hound, and so I think his paws are distinctly the Beagle part of him, because they're all four of his paws are white, which is really cute. Last night I was just like looking up different artists on YouTube, and for the first time I started learning about Kim Jung-gi. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but I had seen him. I'm fairly oblivious, I feel like, when it comes to artists. I've like really been like head down in my job and having a family and stuff, but I've seen videos that I didn't click on of Kim Jung-gi's on YouTube, and just did this like mini deep dive of his stuff, and was both like really inspired and just realized I love that dude's stuff. He does incredible stuff. But also devastated to realize that he passed away, I guess, a couple years ago. A friend told me that today. We were talking about art stuff. But his stuff is amazing. And it made me realize, because I've been like in work family mode for so many years, and really not thinking about art, that like all of my exposure to art for the most part has been children's books, which, you know, if you've looked at children's books, they're pretty phenomenal. Like, you know, especially like the really good children's books, that artwork is just phenomenal. I love Dan Santat. There's a guy named Matt Otley who's unbelievable. The artist who does Hilo, I don't know his name. He's also a DC comics artist, I think, also. But I gotta pause and think about the color of his shirt. Maybe I'll make it like a light blue. That's like the standard. I feel like if you take a picture of any boardroom or like corporate business meeting, everyone is wearing light blue. Like, that's really reliable for guys' shirts. Anyway, but I was just thinking, like, oh, I've really been immersed in children's illustration stuff, but have been fairly sheltered from, just because of like you know, season of life stuff, have been fairly sheltered when it comes to just showing you my mix and my paint, because it's more interesting than not having something to look at. Yeah, I've been really sheltered when it comes to other types of work. Every now and then we'll go to a museum, and my wife has been great at like saying like, hey, we should be regularly exposed to art, and I think it took me a long time to realize how much I appreciated that. That's something she has always been an advocate for. But yeah, so like stumbling on Kim Jung-gi's stuff was like, it's like I went, oh yeah, there's a world of art that I have, you know, I can explore here. And it's really cool. It's really inspiring, and like all these styles out there that I haven't explored. And I think part of that too is because I'm, you know, my season of life is I barely have time to draw, and I barely have time to learn to draw, and I barely have time to make YouTube videos. So it's like, you know, so I'm trying to cram a huge amount into small spaces, and all that to say that it's really easy for me to not really be exposed to, like, I'm not just like recreationally looking at art or exploring other artists' work. And so it was really neat for me to remember, oh wait, there's a bunch of art out there that I've never explored, and certainly not with the lens that I have now, because now I'm like, oh, I have some categories for fundamentals of art. And so to go and kind of look at other artists' work now it's like looking at it new, really, because now I have a sense of like what it took to compose a picture, and yeah, you know, anything that has perspective in it, like significant perspective plays a significant factor. I think, man, good job to whoever that artist was, because that stuff takes me forever. I think I pretty dramatically overthink perspective, but anyway, I just have a different level, a different kind of appreciation for artists now when I see just what they're capable of, and I love, it's so cool seeing artists who can quickly hash out beautiful things. And I think it's tempting to think like you've only arrived when you can really quickly, just with no planning, just start drawing and something really beautiful comes out on the page. And I think that's nonsense. I think that sometimes that happens, and probably that does happen more when you get to be like when you've been drawing for like 30 years or you know, something like that, 10 years at least, or and really working at it, really working at how to translate things in your brain and make your hands do what your mind sees and all that. I'm thinking his tie is gonna be like a magenta. Where is it? So this is way over 10 minutes, which I feel like was predictable, but I was really hopeful. But I am getting close to being done. So I'm just trying to get paint out to do a magenta here. I want it to be fairly light magenta, I think. So I think magenta against blue is probably kind of interesting. I mostly want it to be white, I think. So we're just gonna start. It always like blows me away how much, like a really tiny amount of color really saturates like white. It has really elongated some of my efforts to paint quickly. Okay, I'm gonna do his tie, then I think I'm just gonna do like I'll darken some of the lines and add some shadow, maybe some light. Okay, here, let's try this. Da-da-da. Maybe that's too watery. I don't remember what I was talking about before. I was talking about maybe only feeling like you've arrived when you can always make awesome things. I don't remember where I was going with all that. Hopefully it was some really awesome, profound thing. Let's just assume I was saying something really profound. Okay, I'm gonna kind of let some of that dry, and then I don't know if you can use pen over gouache, but we are gonna find out, I guess. Otherwise, if not, then I'm gonna have to use black. Or sorry, I'm gonna have to use. Oh, it looks like it works. I'm just gonna have to use the gouache. I have recently been thinking about, you know, I've been drawing for a year, and like my first goal was just, or I've been drawing since January, like really more seriously with goals, and but my primary goal has just been to draw every day. And as in recent months, I've started to try and hash out more mature goals. And I really do feel like it took me from January to June to feel like, okay, I have a consistent habit now, and now I'm really confident I'm not gonna shift. You know, I'm really comfortable in my habit. Like, that's a real hardwired habit now. And so now I can start thinking about what are my next goals. And every time I think about new goals and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna try and do this now, I am reminded how limited my time is. Because even doing this video, I was like, oh, I'll just do a not voiceover video, but like real time, record everything in real time. And it made me realize that my current workflow in making videos is dependent on the fact that I can work on everything in separate pockets. Like, I can work on the audio when it's convenient. I can work on editing the video just like in pockets here and there when I'm waiting for my son's like to get through sports practice or whatever. And you know, it's like really broken down into these easy to fit into pockets of the day kind of modules of things I'm working on and like making the videos. And as long as I'm recording my drawing every day or night, it's usually at night, as long as I'm recording that, then I just have the footage I need to make the videos, and I can just fit in all the rest when I have time. And but when I realized, oh, I want to record it all at once, usually I don't do that because I have two little boys that are running around screaming. Our house is not big enough, and they're not always screaming, but our house is not big enough that you wouldn't hear them in the background. And so I immediately was like, oh, I don't even know how to do that. Even if it's just a 10-minute video, I don't know how to do that. And I think it would be fun to like include, you know, the sounds of them in the background, but we just try and be like real careful about protecting their privacy and all those things. So anyway, but I got real focused here on doing these lines. But yeah, anyway, my goals for the year have been first and foremost just to draw a lot, and I've been doing that. So recently I've been thinking a lot more about like maturing my goals. And one thing I've thought about is that before the end of the year, I would like to have a really realistic drawing of my dog, a really realistic portrait. So that is one goal. I really like realistic drawings, but when I'm pressed for time, it's easiest to just say like, I think they take a lot longer. It's really what it boils down to. And so I don't tend to do them as much. And I think I could really use the practice at doing them more. So that's one goal. I'm gonna work on shadows now, darker colors. And I think I'm just gonna take the orange and add a little black. But I would like to do a portrait, a realistic portrait, and just see how good I can make that, and maybe it'll be, you know, not awesome, but I'd like to give that a go. I'd like to do a really stylized black and white, like ink painting. Drawing. Not painting, but make it ink. And I don't know if I should have added. I should probably add another color other than black, but just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go with that. Just gonna try and keep it real simple. Because at some moment, my family's actually. So my family's out for some practice for my boys' sports, and so I had this like real quick window where I can make this video without craziness in the background. So I'm trying to, that's another reason to keep it going. Let's see, I probably need it to be darker. But yeah, so I'd like to do a real stylized ink. Now I realize I probably should have done the black outlines at the very, very end, but oh well. And I'm thinking, the only person I can think of off the top of my head for stylized ink stuff is Frank Miller. I know there's a lot of other artists out there. But something like that I think would be really cool, and like, you know, stretch myself to do something that's really challenging. And then I would love to do a really stylized and kind of complicated color painting. And I realize that's pretty vague, but I guess that's like as clear as I've been able to get it in my mind so far. But yeah, so those are my, I'd love to do like a, you know, kind of like a really nice portrait, a really nice black and white ink drawing, and something that like really relies heavily on colors and color composition. Yeah. And where I'm at otherwise is like I'm trying to go through a curriculum that goes through like making basic shapes, and then goes into perspective, and then goes into tone and value and light and shadow stuff. And right now I'm on the module that is focused on color, actually. So I'm trying to hurry so I'm not worrying as much about like wiping off my brush here. I don't know that it adds a lot for me to, okay, let's try this. But the curriculum that I'm going through is by the Society of Visual, or the School of Visual Storytelling. I think it used to be called the Society of Visual Storytelling. It's Jake Parker, Lee White, and Will Terry. And they have a bunch of, you know, additional kind of like guest teachers, a ton. But it's like kind of all the categories that I think people who are aspiring to be illustrators are thinking about, from like fundamentals of what you need to learn for art skill to even like thinking about publishing and working with agents and things like that. So I'm for sure only really focusing on the fundamental skills of illustration right now. I'm not thinking about all the like working with an agent stuff or anything like that yet. But it's a great resource, and I know I will be interested in all that stuff. I am interested in it, but I just, you know, like when the time is right, I will focus on those things. I want to focus on my art skills first, my fundamental skills first. I do want to have some shading up in here, but I think it's easy to get carried away around. It's easy for me to get carried away around his eyes. So okay, I'm gonna go with that, and then shade his shirt a little bit, and his tie, and then the ground, and then I think maybe I'll add some highlights. This is nothing like 10 minutes. All right, but the curriculum goes through, just in the foundation, it goes into like figure drawing. I can't remember what else. Oh yeah, drawing environments or like objects for a scene. And I think what I really want here is black, so I think I'm going to do that. Anyway, so it's great. It has been incredibly slow for me to go through it just because of everything else going on. But I really love it. It's excellent. And I keep trying to do. They have a monthly challenge where you can submit your stuff, and they'll provide a prompt, and you can submit your work, and they'll comment on, they'll give you like expert critiques based on how you did, and you're trying to tell a visual story, and I keep trying to do it, and I keep starting on it too late, and so I keep not doing it. I actually was trying really hard, but I started too late again this month. So I won't get it in this month either. That is a little bit too dark, opaque. But in one of the videos that I'll post later, oh, this is not good. Kind of making it look crazy. The prompt for this month is Jeremy never thought his machine would actually work, which is a fun prompt, and I'll have a video of the drawing that I've been working on. And I was excited about it. I just I think today's the deadline for getting it in, and I'm not going to have it done. So, and I knew I wasn't going to have it done, otherwise I would have just done that instead of this one. But I am I'm hoping to and planning to get that, to participate in that and get that like expert feedback. Really looking forward to. I think expert feedback is like the secret sauce to growing faster. Really any feedback, but certainly it's really helpful to get a level of expertise. If people who are giving you feedback have a level of expertise. But I think art is cool because it's, it doesn't have to just be experts, like it's really meaningful if non-experts, are like, hey, I like your stuff, like that. That's what you're going for, you're not just trying to like satisfy some art teacher, obviously. I'm trying to capitalize on this dark kind of grayish shade here and use it for shadow for the ground. I guess I hadn't thought about where the light's coming from. I'm just doing general shadow, which is probably always less satisfying to look at than if you identify the light source. And then your eyes go, oh, that's like more real than if you just have this like generic kind of look to a thing. I'm gonna use it for his paws also. I have thought throughout this year's project of drawing my dog every day that I feel like in every drawing that I've done of my dog, there's been this one anatomical hang-up in each drawing, and I've always been curious if everyone's like, yeah, like people agree. Probably no one is like that vested in like paying that much attention, but I always feel like I mess up his legs like super duper mess up his legs, and I'm curious if that stands out, but I think they always look a little deformed. I'm going to darken up his tie a little bit here, or just do shadows for his tie, and might do a little bit more on his shirt because the shadows right now look super wonky, right? They look super wonky. But what I have assumed is the fastest path to getting good at, well, to not just getting good, like to getting to a professional level of being an illustrator is A, carve out a habit so that I'm drawing consistently. This is tricky in here. Because if you're not generating content to learn from, then you're, that has to be step A. And it's like, yeah, if you're not like training your muscles, then like you're just not gonna, there's no path to getting stronger. So other than just drawing, okay, this is getting much more soupy and wonky than I had hoped, but oh well, I'm just gonna go with it. But my thinking is that 1, get in a good habit, 2, get tied into like a path of like understanding what the fundamentals are and consistently learning the fundamentals. I think the same thing is true of like YouTube, making YouTube videos. And I think it's really interesting because I think there's a lot of fear around like making bad videos, and it's like this crazy catch-22 though, because in order to make better videos, you just have to make videos. And so I think, it's just this really interesting process. I think that, like all creatives probably have to deal with, where you just have to embrace the fact that you're not where you want to be. And I know I've talked about this in other videos, but it's just a constant thing. The sooner you embrace that you're not awesome, and that in order to get better, you have to just put out not awesome stuff. And the more you're willing to do that, the quicker you're actually going to get awesome. Not that, being awesome necessarily is the goal, but like, your skill comes from practicing the thing, and there's just no way to get better, if you're not practicing the thing. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna darken some of the lines and then do some highlights and just call it done. His expression is a little bit duller than I wish it were, but I think it's kind of cool. I like it. But yeah, I think, having a good habit, learning, getting tied into like, okay, here's how I learned the fundamentals. Here are like how I understand what the fundamentals are, and then like here's how I learned them. When I first started looking into illustration, I did not know any of the categories of what an illustrator even does, and I couldn't tell you, like, if someone said, what are the fundamentals of illustration? I had no clue at all. So yeah, I think getting tied into a curriculum of some sort, and I don't think that has to be paid in any way. I think paid stuff tends to be more packaged in a helpful way and streamlined in a way that like you don't have to go and figure all this stuff out. Like you don't have to figure out where the stuff is, you know, like you just kind of, it's more automated in one sense. I kind of like doing these kind of like shadow highlights. I don't know what else to call that, but I kind of like all the colors that are in there right now, actually. Just thinking about if I want to do anything else. But I also think, you know, at some point you have to start getting feedback from people, and I think that's like the really scary. I do think it's scary to like do bad work in front of yourself, but like getting feedback from people is also scary. And so I think I found it really helpful to just be like, I am new, I don't know what I'm doing, and so I think with that as a framework, it's like freeing to just be like, hey, I'm gonna make some bad artwork. I think I do want to do some highlighting just on his nose. I've done highlights on with this pen before that are like kind of get all messed up. Like the pen doesn't work the way I want it to, so I have felt like it's ruined pictures before. But we're gonna see how it goes, if I can get any ink to come out of this white gel pen. My battery on my phone is saying it's about to die, so one way or another this drawing's almost over. Okay, so I think this will, yep. The highlight in his eyes is not at all like I wanted it to look, but it's there. So there we go. Today is what is today? Today's the 31st. There we go. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was way longer than 10 minutes, but there it is. Dog dressed for work. Hope y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.